Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Philippa. How are you?
Okay. Oh, there I am. Okay. Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
You have had an amazing summer.
I have. I have. Now I'm home. I'm home for the until school.
Okay.
I need to be home. As much as I love to travel, I can't keep finding my animals off on other people. I need to be home for a little bit.
But you had a wonderful time out in Asia.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was great.
Good. Yeah.
When
I
do you
have
leave? September, October?
October, I leave. Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I
Oh,
heard Kristen's not left is not leave is leaving Friday now instead of whenever.
oh, what drama. Yes.
Oh, always when John told me, I was like, why are you surprised? Like, why is there any surprise in this story right now?
Oh, yeah. But actually, I think Kirsten was almost relieved because it was such pressure to get everything done in the time
Yeah.
that this is, and it makes so much more sense to be going straight to Senegal and not going through Brussels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Totally agree.
she should have changed those tickets as soon as they decided not to take Juno
Yep.
with them.
Ay, ay,
Um,
ay.
uh, uh, here's Sandra. Excellent. They've just been away for 2 weeks too,
Oh,
Sandra.
where'd they go?
So she may still be away. She may be just doing it on Zoom. I don't know. Did your animals survive without you though?
My dog was fine because he's with my mom and dad, and that's fine. My cat was very sad, but she like doesn't care about me anyway, so I don't know why she gets so sad when I'm not home. Like she still lives her own life, so I don't know.
Well, you didn't realize that she cares so much about you. Hi, Tom.
Hello,
Are you
Philippa.
back home or are you taking this Zoom call somewhere?
Oh no, we're back home.
Okay, welcome back. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, we did.
Good.
It was I'm just trying to turn up the volume here. You're kind of low.
Okay.
Where were you guys, Tom?
No, we went up to Iowa to visit my family. That's where I grew up.
Okay. Did you drive out?
There's Denise. Okay.
Oh no, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
flew. We got
Okay.
we got caught in
Oh,
that debacle with our flight got canceled and
Oh,
we
did
had
you
to
get,
reschedule for the next day. But unfortunately, my son and his family, theirs got canceled and they couldn't reschedule.
oh, how disappointing.
So yeah, they didn't go at all.
Mm.
So kind of blew everything up. We had to cancel our Airbnb and didn't because we ended up staying with at my mom's house instead because
Mm-hmm. You didn't
trying to
need
do
the Airbnb
all of
then,
us,
huh?
we couldn't do all of us at her house, but when it was just the two of us, there was plenty of room.
Right. Oh, it's disappointing. I'm sorry. Do you have
Yeah.
anything later in the year as an option or not?
No, we rescheduled it for the same time next year.
Oh,
Luckily,
uh-oh.
they gave us credit.
Okay, that may not be a good thing. It may have the same debacle this time, not next year.
I mean, that would be we've never had one of those.
Yeah.
It's unlikely that'll happen 1 year in the future, at exactly the same time.
Okay, John said in his email that he had a wake to attend for somebody who died suddenly, so that it might be a problem for him joining us. And I'm assuming he's not here,
Nope.
right? No.
He's
Okay,
not.
so
Nope.
it is 6 o'clock, so let's open the meeting. We don't have any guests. We have some minutes. Although the June meeting, we shouldn't have minutes of really, because it wasn't a real legal meeting, was it? Am I right?
June 26th, we had a minute.
We met, but wasn't that the one that we couldn't?
Well, I'm looking at the minutes right here.
Well, I know we have them, but I'm not sure they're legal. Anyhow, everybody had a chance to look at the minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can I have a motion to accept them?
Motion to accept.
Second.
No, you can't, Sarah.
Oh
You
yeah,
weren't.
because I wasn't there. Sorry.
I'll motion.
Thank you, Tom. Second?
Second,
All
second.
right. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Terrific. Okay. Treasurer's report. We now have money, but according to John, we were not able to use, we had to use some of our friends' money to pay the mower. And also because Sarah doesn't know this, we had the guy who does the sort of the landscaping, the zipper zappering, Chris, who is the partner of Scott. We realized that we cannot keep the maintenance of the Arboretum going just by ourselves. So here comes John now. Excellent. Is he on? Almost. There he is. Hi, John.
Hi there.
Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you juggling whatever you had to juggle to get here.
Well, I was at the calling hours for
Right.
Valerie Aietto, who's the president and longtime president and co-founder of the New Roxbury Land Trust. She died 3 weeks ago, I guess, the 10th.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that she died. But thank you for taking care of that and then coming and joining us. We're just talking about the treasurer's report right now. And you were not part of the discussion and the decision to hire Chris, who is the zipper zapper person that does the trimming.
Mhm.
And he said that he would have two of his guys work each 2 hours once a month for $200 and would zipper zap. And he came in July and cleared the whole path and the whole right-hand side of the Arboretum. That
Good.
area that we talked about getting cleared out so that the mower could go down there. The two guys came in and they cleared that whole area, apart from two little patches. So it has been cleared, and hopefully now Scott is going to be able to mow all the way down there,
Oh, good.
which is great. I just don't know whether we're going to be able to afford this, John, since we already got scrunched a little bit. So
well,
I
we'll
think
see.
we need to go to the selectmen and point out that we need this help to keep the Arboretum decent, and they need to increase our budget before the end of the budget year, because I think we're not going to be able to cover all the expenses again. What do you think, everybody?
I mean, it is
Well,
town property. Right?
It's town property, yes, it is.
And so I'm assuming that payroll is, this number is just through our current expenses, not through the mowing season.
It will be.
That's right. The number you see on that report is for the 12 months ended in on June 30. So it was the tail end of calendar 2023 summer and the first, May and June of this year.
Okay, so that's opening balance. Closing balance is 21. And does that on July 1st, did we get more put in?
Yeah, we get another $3,000 starting July 1st.
Okay.
But if we've got Zipper Zapper in addition to Better View Landscape, and we'll have Bartlett come and do some work, we probably need another $500 or $1,000.
I would agree. Now, I suppose we can pay Bartlett out of the Friends Fund because he's working with the trees all the time. But I would like to go and ask the town for another $1,000 because I think that's just basic maintenance. And let's see if we can get it. We also, Bartlett's, Julian and his cohort, whose name escapes me right now.
Ryan,
Sorry?
Ryan, I think it is.
Ryan, that's right, Ryan. Both said that the Purple Beach is doomed. That us investing money in just taking down half of it in order to keep it standing is a dangerous and expensive choice. The concern being that the branches are very heavy and potentially can fall. So it is a safety hazard, which is what we were told the town would then take care of. That is going to be a huge expense for the town. Because apparently everybody said it's going to need a crane to come in on the bank there and take care of it. What do people think about this?
Well,
Well,
we should get an estimate. I
Tom?
mean, we probably should just get an estimate, and then that would be, ammunition to go to the town with.
Okay. We can ask the town crew that took that tree down and have left the wood right there, which I did go to the town hall and ask about that. And he was contacted as the head of the town crew. And he said they have major projects on at the moment, but they are planning to remove that wood at some point in the future. So those big logs that are right there on the bank, that whole tree that got taken down, they are aware that their responsibility is to get that wood out of there. It's not ours.
Right.
But yeah, so
I just wonder, because I know that there are other trees, and if there's gonna be that kind of huge equipment brought in, if we should be thinking even beyond the Purple Beach and have a bigger plan before we approach the town and not just with that one tree. So just a thought.
yeah, I mean, that's what Ryan and Julian talked about, was that those 3 ashes that are on the wall are dying or dead already. And they would need the same crane and equipment to be taken down as the Purple Beach. And they're in that same area on the
Which
hill.
ashes? I'm not sure where those are.
Sorry?
The ash trees, where are those?
They're on the boundary, the north boundary of the Arboretum, against the wall, sort of at the top of the bank,
Yeah.
but going down that wall. And they're on our side.
So on the left-hand side, as you stand at the top of the hill,
Right. Yeah. On the left there.
Well, actually, I mean, they are probably then within reach of, the crane. If they, so it'd probably make it easy, and those have to go anyway, so.
So that would be, I think you're right, Denise. We need to put together a package before we go to the town. And I don't think they're meeting over the summer, so we've got some time to do that.
And this is the kind of thing that the town does not have the ability to do themselves. They don't have a crane.
no,
I don't know what the town's group have.
John,
do you know?
I'm trying to remember the name. There's another trees company that is sort of on contract for the town to be on standby for tree work. And I don't know whether they have the capabilities to do that, particularly the Purple Beach. But that's something we could find out about.
It would probably be if the town has already has somebody that they know their prices and they trust them. It'd probably behoove us to use the same people, or at least get them as a price from them, and get a price from whoever else you think can do it.
But that's what we did, Tom, for the oak tree, the white oak that came down.
Yeah.
And the best price came in from the group that the town hires. And the name again is escaping me at the moment.
Is the town going to require us to have all 3 bids on something like that?
I don't know, John. Is it necessary to have a?
Don't know the answer to that.
Well, I can find out.
Sometimes if it's over a certain dollar amount, they need to have competitive bidding.
Okay. Does anybody have a tree group that they really like and they think are very economical? That they think could handle this? Has anybody used anybody on their own property?
Certainly not anybody that has a crane.
No.
No, we use Walter, but he doesn't have a crane. He's terrific and very reasonable, but he doesn't have a crane.
And I've used Bill Rathbone, but he's a one-man band and doesn't have a crane.
Right.
But do you know if John Seth, who Do you know who I'm talking about from the East Woodstock Church, John? Seth? The
Short answer. No,
Spalding?
there is.
Spalding, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah.
he's not doing tree clearing anymore, but he is working with his son up in, or son-in-law, I think, up in the Boston area. I don't, I mean, I don't know what their capabilities are.
Okay.
You could ask him.
Is that Seth Spalding?
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
yeah, Seth, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they give us our wood for the winter, but I'm not sure that he clears the trees.
Well, they did some work on our property and took some trees down for us.
Okay,
Um, and I'll ask our neighbor, just had somebody come in that had like huge equipment. I'll ask him who that was as a possibility.
terrific. That'd be great. Yeah, let's get some names and then just ask them to stop by and give us an estimate. I mean, that's what we did with the oak tree. We just called them and said, would you please stop by and give us an estimate? And then we forwarded those estimates to the town.
Do we
Oh.
need a second opinion on the health of the Purple Beech, or are we just going to trust the guys at Bartlett if they pronounce it as hospice to euthanasia time or not?
We could certainly ask for a second opinion, which is always a good idea. Do you know an arborist that you would trust?
Well, that's the other problem. Short answer, no.
Tom, do you have an arborist that you trust and you worked with that you?
Not really, not really.
Okay.
I mean, he's been good to us and he hasn't, I don't think he's steered us wrong before.
No, yeah, he's very familiar with the.
No, and I think that's probably right. Yeah, we just stick with them.
Yeah, and I think he was very honest too, that we're not going to be your low cost bidder to like remove the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he was very accurate about that. And they have already, Ryan, who is, you don't know this, Sarah, but there's a young man called Ryan who is sort of taking over this area. So he will be taking over the Arboretum more than Julian. But they took some samples from the yew trees and went and had them tested back with their own laboratories. And Ryan contacted me with the results. I think I forwarded them to you all. And one of them was that there was this insect that's bothering the yew trees. But the other of more concern to me was they were suggesting that there's something in the soil that could be damaging to many trees in the Arboretum. And I'm wondering if it's something that runs off because it's that side of the Arboretum. We've lost already a couple of trees over there. I don't know.
You mean
Anybody
like,
have any knowledge of what might be there or what we could have tested to the soil? Yes, Tom.
well, I guess, well, like the only thing I can think of would, unless you're talking about something was there, pre-existing condition type thing. The only thing I would think of is any salts that they use on the parking lot.
Right.
And I know the salts they keep changing them. They use liquid ones now, but I don't know what they use there.
And I'm not sure they even use anything in the parking lot because I think that frequently they feel that people don't come in the wintertime. So although they have the Historical Society pays for a plow to do the plowing, I'm not sure they salt or do sanding or do anything on the road there. But they may on the main road, and that may wash down.
I don't think the main road would wash down. I think there's enough of a gutter in the road so that unless it went across the lawn from our neighbor's property. I have to look at that. I think it would be, of course, if it got in the snow and got plowed up onto the edge of the road, when snow starts to melt, it might wash down that way.
Right. Yeah. And I haven't asked Jessie if she had any kind of treatment done to her property, but that's also another possibility. But I think this is probably several years ago. You know, trees take a while, I think, to die. So I thought at first maybe it was when they tarmacked the driveway, but they only did that, what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Mhm.
And I think that the trees take longer but I may be wrong. I think the trees take longer to die than 4 years.
I mean, we're pretty far separated from the street. And you'd think anything would be diluted. I mean, usually you think about that, it's stuff that's in close proximity to the road.
Okay.
On second thought, I do know someone that an arborist that was recommended to us. I have somebody in my contacts, but I don't know which one it was, so
Okay.
I can get back to you. Sandra might know. She's downstairs. I can run and ask.
Okay. Well, if you can find it, that would be terrific. Yeah, so Ryan was going to treat the yew for whatever that insect thing is that's bothering it. But we have not got a contract from them yet. Is that right, John? I haven't seen
I haven't
anything.
seen one.
I'll give him a call and find out what his plan is, because we need a contract to know what they're going to be charging us.
When did you talk to him on the phone?
I'll be right back. I'll get that name.
Okay. I have not talked with him on the phone, John. He texts me. He has
Okay.
an email address and he just texts me. But I can
Because
try
I've checked the Arboretum mailbox either last Friday or this Monday, and there wasn't anything. So I haven't seen that.
Okay, I've been checking it too, and I haven't found anything. But we need a contract from them. So I don't know whether Julian will make up the contract or whether Ryan's going to do it. Ryan is a bit of a newbie, but he's moving in to take over, and he certainly has got the training.
Well, that'll be a standard form when he's just filling in the blanks, I'm sure.
Right.
I mean, it's.
But the question is, do we have them treat the purple beech if we're going to cut it down? Because that's one of the bigger items is the treating of the fungus on the purple beech.
If it's not worth it, if we're not going to be able to save it, then why are we treating it?
And why treating it? That's right.
And I think we need to move forward with the plan to Chandler, Katie, and I forget the new guy, and then ask for more money or see what the towns can do. I know they don't have a crane, but maybe, I don't know, but like bring this all to them and say, we're asking for more money. We're asking for more money for our payroll because we didn't get any ARPA money for unknown reasons. And all these other things did. And now we're at a point where the cost of everything's going up. We're trying to make strides. So we have that's an immediate ask. And then we also present, and this is our long-term ask, these trees need to come down. These three, it's going to be, these are all the estimates we got. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm. John, do you know when the next first selectmen's meeting is?
We have to go to I think we should go to the finance committee before we go to the selectmen.
Okay. And
I mean, we might want to tell the selectmen, here's something to put in the back of your head. We're going to be coming to you with a big ask because we've been told these trees need to come down, and that's going to be expensive.
Okay. When is the next finance committee meeting? Do you know?
They don't meet in the summer. It's probably in either late in August or September.
Okay. So we've got time to put that all together. Okay.
Well, not that much time.
Hey, we've got a month. We've got a month. Reed, by the way, came and worked for us, and I already signed his paycheck, but it poured with rain his second time, so he was only there for half an hour. But he's back on his vacation, and I got a text from him saying that he should be able to come back and work next week, and would like he'll again will only be able to come out. I think it's maybe 2 or 3 weeks in August before he goes back to school. So, but he can come, and he's approved and good to go. So if we can have him come, and I'm around, and also we have this wonderful lady called Kristen, who has to put in 20 hours of volunteer weeding for her Master Gardener program. And she was with Kate, and weeded for, I think, 2 hours with her, and then weeded for an hour with me. And she's lovely, and she likes to weed, and she's energetic, and she goes after those weeds. So my thinking is that we can, have her come whenever Reed comes, and any of us who can go down and help out would be fantastic. I don't know what Kate's working hours are at the moment. And what about Sandra? What are her working hours?
She's retired.
Yeah.
No, but she has, obligations towards. I have to.
Don't speak for her. Okay.
Yeah, I can't do that.
But she came down. She was Sandra, actually, not Kate. Sandra, who came and worked with Kristen, and Sandra had a friend, Sandra, right,
Yeah.
from Massachusetts, who was a master gardener from Massachusetts, and it was her idea that initiated my letter to the master gardener organizer to see if we can get that hillside taken over by master gardeners as a project. I think I sent you all a copy of the letter I sent out, right?
I didn't see that, but
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll go back and look at it.
Yeah, I have not heard anything from him yet, but the idea was that we should try to get a master gardener to take that whole hillside over, and we would like to turn it into a woodland garden. And a master gardener could take that on as a project and organize other master gardeners as her labor force or his labor force, and come in and do the whole project. And I think it would be, we're looking for something that is much more appropriate for the Arboretum, and no maintenance, that will grow, take over the hillside, and we don't have to weed it because it was all kind of woodland plants. And like ferns was a good one to bring in there. And we can probably send out a plea to the Quiet Corner Garden Club if they have any woodland plants that they're dividing and separating. Please donate them to the Arboretum, and they can be put in that area. Any thoughts about that?
I think that's great.
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about. I'm glad you got the initiative and got that going.
The sunlight is going to change if we take the trees down.
Yes, it is.
We're going to have to think about, we might want to put a tree back, but we got to think about how that's going to change things.
And it would be probably a very little tree, so it would not change it too much. It's going to be sunny.
The beach is off, not yet actually on that hillside you're talking about, or no, it is. Excuse me.
It is. It's right at the top of the hillside. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're quite right, John, that, trying to know which step do we do first, and my other concern would be that to take out all the stuff that's growing on that hillside, we need to make sure we're putting stuff in, otherwise the erosion would be just horrendous.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it needs to be done, today we can take this out, but we also put this in so that is controlled the whole time.
Right.
Because we've got the jumping worms in there too, and they make the soil even more friable and easily eroded. Even though Sandra is great at catching those jumping worms.
It's a hopeless battle. We're not going to get rid of them.
Yeah. So basically, work projects, Reed is going to come and we're going to have him weed. There was some areas that needed trimming, and he likes to pull out vines and trim and work hard. Kristen and I went and weeded all around the yew tree and moved the hostas that were in that bed, because Julian had said we should not have hostas growing under that yew tree. So we put them where you had started moving them, Tom. We added them.
Yeah.
We added them up into that area up there.
Okay.
But Sandra had suggested that we should also move at some point all the daylilies.
Well, that's true. We would need to figure out a place we can, and that prompted the question. It's like, where do we have, do we have a master plan? You said you have several. Do we need to look at those, and we need to kind of understand, I mean, master plans are meant to be followed unless we think they're completely out of date and have no relevance, but I can't imagine things have changed that much that we couldn't, they wouldn't have some relevance.
What I have here is a folder that has lists of plants, lists of trees, lists of plants, lists of birds. I don't have, and I have a map. I'm going to go back up into the attic and see what else is in the boxes that I have up there. But I do have a very nice, very organized folder that has pictures of many bushes and trees that no longer exist, but that they were planted. My thinking about moving those daylilies is that would be a great project for Woodstock Academy students, Sarah.
What would be a great, like moving that would be a project?
Well, moving them, they could dig them up and carry them up, and if we knew where they were going.
Sure. Who do you think is going to do, what group do you think is doing this project? Like, who do you envision doing this at Woodstock Academy?
I think your students that you bring who want to do hard work.
You mean that they're required to do community service in order to graduate? Those kids? Okay.
Those kids, yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
But I mean, I just think that some of these things can't be done by 2 or 3 people. We need a cluster. So whether it's Pomfret students or whether it's Woodstock Academy students, that some of these things, or Master Gardener people, we need manpower.
Yeah.
And we don't have it, unfortunately. So I don't know how many of you are willing and available to come down and do some work, a couple of days a week or a couple of hours a day, a week. That would be great. If I posted when I was going to be there to everybody, then if anybody can join me, I'd be very happy to have them come. And when Reed's going to be there, if anybody can join us for him too, that would be great. So I will just, as soon as I find out from him when he's available, he needs to have somebody there supervising him. And, I am childless at the moment, so, or I will be on Friday. So I can go down and work in the garden. I'm just not very good at walking up and down the hill. Other thoughts? We had talked about, Tom and Sandra had talked about just that whole right-hand side, just turning it into grass so that it can be mowed, right?
Right. Right.
So
it seems like the best way to, you said it used to be lawn, and anything we can do. I think we talked about getting it cleared so we could assess whether it could, what needs, if anything needs to be done to make it mowable.
Right.
Because right now we couldn't even see what was there. So now that it's down, before the weeds grow back, we should do that assessment.
Do something about that, right? The other thing that we need to do is widen the path, because they have a 5-foot mower, and the path in places is too narrow for Scott to mow it. So I'm assuming
it's just logs in the way.
Well, there are logs and rocks, so they all need to be pushed back. I'm assuming he probably needs 6-foot path. Would that be reasonable?
Yeah, you want a little leeway.
I mean, I was just thinking, we don't want too much room on each side, because then weeds will grow up. But
Well,
you think
it mows down one side, then mows back the other way. I mean, a little wider is not going to hurt. They just make 2 passes then.
Okay, all right. But that's one of the projects that needs to happen, is to have those logs pushed back and the rocks moved back. And then there's weeding, there's jewel weed and invasives everywhere. But I'm going to contact Kristen when I go down also, because she was just very helpful and very eager to be part of the group. So I think that was very nice. Anything else about the work down there? Projects, thoughts, questions? No, okay. Oh, yes, John, the fence. You're going to be able to have a chance to get that.
Yeah, I
Um,
should be able to get back to that later this week.
Okay. Do you need some help with that?
No, I think I can manage it. I
Okay.
should be able to manage it. If I do need help, I'll holler.
We may not hear you.
I was just trying to look at the calendar for next week. Both Kristen and I work in the polls, and there's a early voting for the Republican primary is next week.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find, so I'm working Monday and Wednesday. I have a few other things scattered around. And then Friday, Charlotte and I have an appointment down in Glastonbury.
So when you say the polls, how long are the polls open all day?
Uh, it depends on the day. So Monday and Wednesday, it's 10 to 6, but I think Tuesday and Thursday, it may be 8 to 8. I was looking to see, let me find the right, I have too many.
And is Kristen working on Tuesday and Thursday, or is she working
I
with you?
don't know what days she's working.
Okay.
I'll get that to you. I've got the schedule somewhere.
Okay. And I'm not sure.
I just put my work days on my calendar, but I've got somewhere I have an email. It's the whole schedule.
Okay. And I'm not sure which day Reed comes back. I just said we'd be happy to have him come whenever he comes back. And he also, I think, is still doing lifeguarding at the Y as well. So his hours have to work around his other job. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions about working down there? Sarah, do you have any energy to come down and do some weeding and stuff?
I can't weed because I'm not gonna get poison ivy again, but I can move the rocks and the logs and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not
Okay.
gonna weed.
But
But I am just looking at my calendar. I am Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
are available, you're busy.
I'm available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay. And those are the days that John is not available. But I'm available almost every day, but I have physical therapy in the mornings from like usually 8 o'clock, 8 to something.
Yeah, Philippa, and let me know too. I mean, if you send out an email when you're going to be there, and if I can come, I will join you.
Terrific. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. Now, is poison ivy bad for you too?
I haven't gotten it this year yet. Not gotten.
Don't want to get it either.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to get it, but yeah.
I have 100 prednisone now. My doctor literally just gave me 100 of them and said, next time you get poison ivy, just start them and start tapering. That's how bad I get it.
Oh,
I
yes,
also
I
have
remember
some
that.
other rash now, but I got these weird drugs in Malaysia and it clears everything up. It's probably not FDA approved, but it works really well.
Clears up everything. Wow.
But I can move the rocks. I can move the logs. I can do all the heavy lifting stuff. That's fine.
Okay,
Just
that's
don't want to
great.
read.
Okay. Yeah, I'm better if I'm at the top of the hill because my knee doesn't like to climb the hill very much. So it's going up and down is really hard for me. But I can definitely weed and drag. Okay, so we'll look for something for next week and try and do it 1 week at a time. We're all set for September the 28th, the tour, John?
Yes.
Okay. And everybody else is all set when they signed up? Denise and Sandra, you're going to be with John? You know which days? Right?
Yes.
Terrific. Because I will not be here.
So what is the expectation there? Because I guess Sandra says, she doesn't have the knowledge to be doing a tour of the gardens. And it was in the meeting minutes last time that, that was the case. So who's actually on those days that Sandra's there? Say John and Sandra. John, are you giving the tour?
Gonna try to. I'm gonna get an instant message or instant training course from Philippa on the 28th. Take good notes, and we'll wing it.
Okay.
And because part of it is people may or may not show up for the tour. So, you know, it's going in a published book that Last Green Valley publishes. These are things that are available on these days. And so people may show up or they may not show up.
Yeah. I did notice this summer 2 hours and summer 1 hour. Is there a reason for that?
There was a reason when I did it, but I don't remember now what it was.
Yeah, the tour, I find the tour that I give usually takes about an hour. So if you were thinking that since you wanted just to be available for 2 hours, that would be okay.
Yep.
But
And on
tour
some of the
itself
days,
takes about an hour.
the historical Center for Woodstock History is going to be open with an exhibit or exhibition, I guess I could say, from the Quiet Corner Garden Club. They have an exhibition of their history they're going to be offering on some of those days.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a self-guided pamphlet in the mailbox, Tom, that I put together as part of my Master Naturalist
Yeah.
stuff. And so that tells some of the stories of the different trees. And then I add extra stuff when I'm going around. And there are trees that that aren't in that guide that are interesting. So I've sort of added those to the tour as well, that people can ask about those. And they inevitably ask about something that I know nothing about. So I always have my picture this app on my cell phone.
Right.
So I can take a picture of whatever bush or weed or whatever it is that they're asking me about and say, oh yes, this is a badee-ba-da-ba-doop.
Yep.
And then frequently they will have interesting, if people show up, they can have interesting information themselves. You know, it's interesting to have a give and take discussion about things.
Right.
Because some of them are really fine gardeners and they know side stories about the different trees and things, which is always fun. But John, we will have fun. And if anybody else wants to come that day, you know, and
What
see,
day is it?
that's going to be Saturday, September the 28th.
Is your September 28th is your first tour?
Yeah.
Huh. I make no promises because I don't have my school calendar yet, so I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that school calendar is going to be all kinds of fun for you this year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other business? Thoughts? Is everybody comfortable with the idea of really moving the Arboretum away from being a garden to being a woodland Arboretum?
Well, I was thinking about that. We've been talking about that. And actually, when we were out in Iowa, we were at a town, and they have a community garden. It's not a woodland like this. It was actually an old school that was taken down, and it was town property, and they've developed it into this magnificent garden, and it's got trees and shrubs and flowers, and the whole thing is maintained by volunteers, and it's spectacular. And people come and walk through it, and they got paths, and they got walls, and they got little fountains, and lots of infrastructure, a lot of things that to draw you in. And I don't know how it's all financed. There's no admission fees, but when you look at it, it's like people come there. They don't come for the trees. They come for the flowers. They come for this, the strolling paths and this one has trees, and it has lots of weeds, and it has lots of invasives in it, and it has some flower gardens, but they're all being overtaken. And so it just needs, to me, it needs something as a centerpiece or a means of getting around, or a paths or something in it. I mean, all this takes money, but somehow there's got to be, that's why I was asking about the master plan. It's like
Mhm.
it's got to be something to draw people in. I don't even know. Forgive me, but is there even a sign out at the street?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
There's not.
So anyway, so there's that. But it's not. It's like it's not like there's not even the signage is not coordinated all that well. And it's like there's some different types, different places, and it's just like a lot of things that need work and some thought. And if there's, I have a friend that they created a garden, and it has this centerpiece of the garden is this patio with big boulders and water flowing down into these basins and trees overhanging it, and it's a nice sitting spot, and so it's like someplace to go and hang out, and and I don't know, there's got to be a bigger vision for this place, and something that might make people want to invest in it,
Mhm.
even if it's just town money.
Is the garden on as much of a slope as this arboretum?
No, it's like a more on a city street, so it's
Yeah,
four blocks.
I think, I mean, that's
City
one of
block,
the one of the challenges that we have to deal with is the degree of the slope,
Yeah,
which makes it unappealing for anybody who's got any kind of walking difficulties.
absolutely. Yeah.
And it makes it a real challenge for us, I think. But I agree with you. I think we do need a master plan. We had people have talked about doing some kind of a mural to come and look at in the Arboretum. I have not found any plan in any of the records, but I will keep looking.
Yeah.
And it's like that young man, Eric, said that his grandmother had a tree planted in her honor, but there is nothing in any of the records that I've found so far that mentions the grandmother's name in line with a tree. And he wasn't quite sure where the tree was. And when I asked Bill Brower, he thought it was planted somewhere over on that wall where the ash trees are.
Yeah.
And that was the opposite side of where Eric thought it was planted. So there's been some poor record keeping as well, I think. But I would agree, we definitely need a plan. And Tom, if you want to come up with a plan for us, I would love you dearly. But I think it's yeah, it would. Oh, I know. My daughter said and this is something, Sarah, that you might have students to do. Apparently, there is Pokemon, that people find Pokemon on your cell phones.
Yep.
Is this right? And that we should
Yes.
we should get a kid to come in and put Pokemon in the Arboretum, because all the Academy kids would then want to come down and look for these Pokemons.
It's not all the Academy kids. It's a very small population that likes Pokemon at the Academy. Like
And it's more middle school
it's
age
more
kids,
middle
I think.
school.
Is it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, well, some adults, because our Tennessee granddaughter is very much into Pokemon.
Okay. And so would she go to the Arboretum with her cell phone and find Pokemons?
Well, there are some
There's some at the
what are they,
Pink House.
geocaching things there already.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody ever goes after them, and they get full of worms and things. Apparently, this Pokemon thing is all cyber based, so there's no thing really there, so it's on your cell phone. But we need somebody who's got cell phone skills to set up something crazy like that.
And
To
the
build up-
Pokemon app.
And the app, yeah. But to build, like, I think we need to be more family friendly, and the Arboretum isn't. Like, no one, like, I walk around Roseland Park every day to walk the dog. And I know we can't be Roseland Park, but like a patio with picnic benches, or like something that makes like, I'm gonna go down there and enjoy it, even if it's only for an hour. And yes, the hill's really difficult, but I think we need to look at it that way. And the
Mhm.
Pokemon thing, they just go and grab it and they leave. Like, they're so into getting it on whatever they're doing on their phone. Those kids aren't going to say like, wow, this is really pretty. It's like, okay, now I need to go get the next one. Now I need to go get the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what this
I agree.
Pokemon thing is. Kirsten had just thrown it out at me.
Yeah.
Can I suggest that we all spend some time thinking about, like what you suggested, Sarah, making it more family friendly? What you're suggesting, Tom, is there should be more negotiable paths and focuses, and we all think about the Arboretum. And, you know, at the next meeting, let's share our ideas. Let's have that as the focus of the meeting. And to see if we can come up with a master plan.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good?
Philippa, just
Maybe if you're coming, if you're weeding down here, we can talk about it while we're down there too. So it's not just everybody thinking on themselves. Sorry, Denise, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
that's okay. I just wanted to ask for the minutes. You had asked the question if the committee was comfortable with them moving the Arboretum from a blank to a woodland garden. I forget what you had said.
Yeah,
From-
well, you know, talking about instead of having the lilies, the daylilies in a whole bed of daylilies and having the whole bed of hostas, that maybe we try to make it a woodland garden, that hillside.
I think she said from a tree based. I think she said tree based to woodland based.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, and I mean, I think one thing when I think about the hillside and a lot of the perimeter edges, yes, those all are best as a woodland gardens because they're all shade, it's in amongst the trees, it's shady. You know, a lot of times those are, you know, are great for that purpose. We do have wonderful sunny areas that could be the place. I mean, that would be the place where you'd want to have flowers and stuff, and where they're away from the edges and where they may be less prone to be becoming full of weeds, and or at least more easily maintained, and without the woodland stuff encroaching on them so much. I mean, I guess I look at some of those islands in the middle where you've got shrubs and ground covers, and those seem like a place you can actually focus some energy and keep them more weed free. And you know, there might be other places where we developed flower gardens where the flowers will flourish as opposed to buried in the edge of the woods.
So do you think we have enough sunshine down there, Tom, to have a pollinator garden?
I guess maybe. I mean, I have to take a look at it again and look at the sun angles, and I'm not. It certainly seems possible more towards the middle of the garden.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where the white oak is probably some of the most open area.
And we also have that swamp that you know, we've done some little spots here and there on the swamp, but we haven't really come up with a good plan.
I mean, there's a couple of trees that are coming down in that area, right?
Right.
And you know, so to me, you know, obviously we have to put new trees in at places, and it might be best to think about placing them in a way that allows us to, you know, if you're going to do flowers, if you want flowers, then keeping those areas sunny and putting the trees in other places that don't infringe upon that sun.
Mm-hmm. I just don't want to have a lot of weeding around flowers. I just think we don't have access to weeders. So if we have pollinator areas, they need to be self-sustaining as much as possible, you know?
Right. Well, any kind of this garden, this whole arboretum definitely needs weeding of some sort. And so to me, we have to figure out a way to make it happen, not necessarily meant the fact that we don't have weeders. It's no matter whether you have flowers or not, you need weeding.
Yeah.
Even if you have a woodland garden, you need weeding. All our woodland gardens are full of woody invasives that come in the shade anyway. So I don't. Yeah. It's
Okay.
a tough situation.
We're coming up to 7 o'clock. I appreciate everybody's attendance here. Any other questions or concerns? Let's do some brainstorming, some thinking, some creative thinking.
Bill,
Okey
I'm
dokes.
happy to help you with making the master plan and meeting with the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen if you want help.
Yeah, I would love help.
Okay,
Thank you
I'm
for
happy
it.
to do that.
Terrific, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions, thoughts?
Denise, I'll send this right to Crystal as soon as we're done, this recording.
Thank you. Thanks
You're
so much, Sarah.
And Philip, I'll have, if Sandra has time, well, you don't, let her know when you have time.
I'll let you
Yeah.
all know when I'm planning on being down there, when Reed's gonna be down there.
Yeah.
Welcome you all to join us when you can. It's much more
Okay.
fun to have groups there, and we're much more effective if we're working together.
That'd be helpful.
Okay, thank you all very much. The rain just came pouring down at my house, so
Yep.
I have to send the body
So,
for everybody else.
All
Okay. All right, take
right,
care.
thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.